Here's what's next on the Nice Guys on Business.
We aren't the cheapest, and we don't try to position ourselves as the low-cost leader, but we do position ourselves as a reliable supply chain partner, and that quality always comes first. So, and customer satisfaction. So that has helped us a lot. It gets us a lot of repeat business, and people just don't leave.
The Nice Guys on Business are putting the band back together. They're on a mission from God. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Welcome back. It's Friday, Funkin' Fans. We have a topic. I don't think we've introduced ourselves. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the mic, Mr. Doug Sandler. I don't think we did that on Monday or Wednesday, did we?
Wow. No, I think we did. I think we got wrapped up in the commercials that we were cutting for Unfolding.biz and for Patreon and for Overcast that we probably just forgot that we did it.
It could be. Well, it's a topic that is near and dear to my heart today because I have a ridiculous sweet tooth. I love like sugar and anything sweet. And Thom is he the president of Steviva?
Founder and CEO. Yeah,
CEO.
I forget how I first got together with Thom, but then I started watching some of his videos, and although this guy is like big time like business leader, founder and CEO of a company called Steviva, he which is a company that's got a lot of employees. And then I'm watching his videos, and this dude's just like a normal guy. I was watching him using the products that his company offers, and he was like making a key lime pie, and he's getting all into the key lime pie recipe as I'm watching his YouTube video, and it's pretty good. I mean, you could actually taste you could pretty much taste the key lime pie through the YouTube video waves. Now, is that even possible? Is it? It's kind of like smell-o-vision. It's kind of You know that idea, having smell-o-vision. What did Willy Wonka have? Didn't he do like something where you could?
Yeah. What was that? I don't remember now.
Like Wonka vision or something.
Yeah,
was
Wonka
it like
vision. Yeah. I don't remember.
So Thom is like he's a human petri dish. He wanted to see what it was like to be lactose intolerant. I started talking about the fact that while he was making that key lime pie on YouTube, I mentioned it on the show, and I said I didn't realize how many things that were like heavy cream related. I said no wonder I feel like shit every time I eat key lime pie, but I love key lime pie. So he said he actually induced a lactose intolerance into his own body by putting like the millions of bacteria into his gut. Could you do that? Could you?
Whoa,
could
dude
you do that?
Dedicated. That's what I'm talking about.
He is.
Wow.
He's like a real clinician kind of guy. I mean, like I said, he definitely. That was kind of scary. Could you imagine like putting? I don't know. What would be like an infection that you would give to yourself and you'd be like, why the hell did I do that?
Nothing. He's got bigger balls than me. I'm telling you, I would never do that. He is definitely dedicated. I want to try some of these products because I have got such a sweet tooth, and I actually, I drink coffee at work and I put sugar in my coffee, and there's some really cool stuff. Like there's a Steviva vanilla. So it's a sweetener, right? But it's vanilla. I love vanilla. I know people are like, vanilla, that's like not a flavor. That's like nothing. Vanilla ice cream. It's like, yeah, you don't know what you're missing. I freaking love vanilla.
Are you the kind of guy that puts the you like the what are they called? The international. What the hell are those creamers?
Yeah, like the international creamer things that are like, there's really no cream in them.
There's
it's
no
just
cream.
Sugar. It's just straight sugar.
It's not even sugar. It's like chemical. Have you ever looked at the ingredients in those things?
Oh, yeah. They're terrible. Bad. It is all chemicals. You're exactly right. There's no cream in the creamers.
The way that I look at it is anything that is milk based that it's does not have to sit on a shelf. I mean, does not have to sit in the refrigerator, but can sit on a shelf. I'm a little afraid of those things.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So why don't we get to the
interview?
No
refrigeration. Yeah, no shit. Because there's so many chemicals in it, it'll last forever.
Extremely shelf stable. This thing has a half-life. Do not ingest if glowing.
So what else does Thom talk about? We're kind of getting off track here, I understand, but I mean, it's more than just like, sugar substitute.
All right. So in his head, and again, part of what it takes to build a successful company is what is the mission that the company has? Why are we here? Why were we created? And what are we all about? he doesn't just create this alternate food product that is a sweetener, but he created this environment that doing the right thing by offering these ingredients. They're healthy ingredients, they're quality ingredients, they're sustainable to the from the environmental perspective. They're pesticide free, they're petrochemical free, they're gluten free, they're everything free except the cost. It's that costs money. But he does talk about the importance of having a company that does well by doing good, and that pretty much is the approach and the attitude that not only his company takes, but the employees within the organization. They really do feel like you can do well by doing good. And we do spend a lot of time on the show talking about the importance of having a company that is just a quality company to work with and work for and to lead. And we go through the process of talking about that. And in addition to that, he introduces some really cool products. And he's a very interesting guy. So I think you guys will enjoy this interview.
I'm going to order some right now. Nectivia with stevia, Madagascar vanilla. I'm going to order some right now.
I don't know if can a consumer order? Is it just
Well, I'm on the website right now and I can order directly from the website. I don't see that they actually are in any stores anywhere. So I'm sure you talk about that in the interview. I haven't actually listened to the interview.
I don't remember if we get into exactly how to buy the products or if he is just working.
You can buy it right on the website, which is Steviva.com.
Let's see. I want to go through this. Please select the product options. Yeah, it looks like you can. We were so focused on all the other stuff that we were talking about and having a company that you can do well by doing good that
you didn't actually get to the product.
We didn't talk about any of the products.
Right.
Well, we did talk about the products, but we didn't talk about buying the products. So
right.
I do wonder if you can buy the products online. Well, if you go online and you can actually buy them, let me see. I'm
looking at it right now, Doug. I just told you I'm at the Steviva store right now.
Product options. Let me see.
Steviva.com/.
I want to try. I want to see what happens. It's going to ask me for my credit card.
Well, if you're going to buy something, I would think it would.
I'm going to view my card here.
Hey, did we talk about Overcast?
Proceed to checkout.
You don't have to actually buy it right now. We do
have
have people listening.
You really can. Legitimately, you can buy products.
Why the hell do you think it's called a storefront? Come on, dude. I mean,
I didn't realize that. The things that you remember that you don't remember when you're actually doing the interview. Hey, do you have products or services to sell? You do? Hey, can I buy them? No, you can't actually buy anything. But it looks like you can. I don't know why I'm amazed every time that you can buy something online. It's like I ordered a whole bunch of Origins products this last week. I actually put them on. I put them on Twitter so that Origins can see, because Mara always told me make it a big deal when you buy a company's products. So,
well, sure. I mean, when you spend thousands of dollars on creamers and
this face is worth thousands of dollars, Strickland. Oh. It is worth thousands of dollars, and we've already talked about the fact that my skin is quite. What do you call it?
Doug, we have faces for podcasting, okay? I'm sorry. That's just how it is.
I didn't shave today, though. I'm feeling a little bit scruffy. I'm feeling like a day-old podcaster right now.
Did we talk about Overcast?
No, go ahead and mention about Overcast.
Focus, guys, focus.
Yeah,
sorry, Mar. Sorry.
So please recommend us an Overcast. We're slipping in the ranks. We're like out of the whatever the top list is for the best, the most downloaded.
Most recommended, yeah.
That's it, most recommended. Yeah, we need to jump up on the list again. We've got other guys beating our asses. You guys are like slacking, so please get to it.
Just so you know, I just not to go off the rails here anymore. Too late. I just got a text message from my wife. So my wife is on when, as of the airing of this, she will just be coming back. That is, if she's survived her 2 weeks away. But she's been away for 2 weeks and at going to visit a whole bunch of venues in Nashville,
right?
And her tour. She's an event planner in the high-end wedding and bar and bat mitzvah market and corporate market, nice guy community, just so you're aware in case you need an event planner. She is an amazing one. So she's gone for 2 weeks to visit these, I don't even know, some ridiculous amount of venues, 40 venues. So she's in like the last 2 days of the trip. And she's like getting tired of like just hanging out by herself or going to the bar and grabbing something to eat. So she met this couple that is vacationing in, I think she's in Charleston tonight. Yeah, I think she's in Charleston, South Carolina. And she's like, I'm going to go grab dinner with them. I'm like, you don't even know them. You're going to grab dinner with them? She goes, yeah, they seem really legit. They seem kind of nice. They're okay. I'm like, I hope you've been a good judge of character. So I said, just do me a favor. When you go out to dinner, can you just send me a message just to let me know that you're okay? So she sends me a text message, still alive at the Ordinary. So she's obviously eating dinner at the Ordinary in Charleston tonight. And she is still alive. That was the important part. So
that's important.
I'm just updating you on her health status.
Thank you. Very much appreciated.
You're welcome. Okay, we ready to get to the interview with Thom? Wasn't this supposed to be a short introduction day?
It was supposed to be.
How far did we go?
I don't even know. I don't know when we started. But yes, it didn't. It was not as short as it could have been, but it's all good.
All right, let's get to the interview. Thom King with Steviva Products right here on the Nice Guys on Business podcast. The difference between doing well and doing good, I mean, can you really have both? And can you be successfully financial without abandoning the idea of being socially responsible? Well, our Nice Guys guest today, Thom King, thinks so. Not just a thinker, but he's definitely a doer. Not your typical founder and CEO. Thom is founder and CEO of Steviva. And he's here to share a little bit about his philosophy and not just doing well, but doing good. Like I said, welcome, Thom, to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Thank you so much. This is a real honor for me to be on your podcast. I've been a big fan and been following you guys, and it's a blast listening to you. And now I'm on.
I always get a little bit worried when somebody says I've been listening to your show, and I'm thinking, are they still going to show up? Are they actually going to be here? Because we can run a show that's full of shenanigans, and I don't mean to bring somebody that's socially responsible on the show if they really feel like you could really damage your reputation here today, Thom.
Well, let's plunge into it because I love shenanigans.
Oh, good. So interestingly enough, when I first connected with Thom, Nice Guy community, when I first connected with Thom, he just wanted to make sure he had the right one of the nice guys here. So he asked me, are you the one that likes junk food? I said, no, I think that's Strickland. He's usually the one that's drinking and eating on the show. So you can which one of us do you relate to better? The guy that eats the junk food or the other guy?
Probably both, because I used to be a junk food fanatic. Like when I was in college, I would drink a Pepsi and actually just drink it down a little bit and then pour a bag of M&Ms in it. So
nice.
That was my thing.
Nice. Yeah, Strick is usually the guy that will, he's usually running in the house from his full-time job around 7 o'clock. If we start recording at 7 o'clock, he'll be running in with his Chinese food under his arm. He'll be chowing down with his pretzels and his rum and Coke and the Chinese food right about to go on live. And I'm like, you want just a minute to kind of just to make that happen? And he says, I was running behind. I'm like, we are all running behind through this game called life, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, no kidding. I've got probably 8 projects going. I've got a book going. We're doing a build out of a new facility. Yeah, definitely.
I want to talk a little bit about your company. The Nice Guy community does not even know about your backstory, which I love. I was watching this YouTube video that I guess you're narrating the video, but it talks about your start with Steviva. So share a little bit about green herbal paste. tell me how that's where it started. Share with everybody what you're all about.
Well, I think it was about 1989. I ran into this gentleman whose name is Jim May, and he actually owns a company that sells stevia as well. He had just come back from Paraguay and had like various jars of types of herbs. His son was suffering from what's called phenylketonuria, which is a brain where your brain is unable to metabolize phenylalanine, which is one of the main components in aspartame. So he was looking for like alternative sweetening agents, and he whipped out this jar of this sort of green herbal paste, and he's like, you should try this. And so of course I did, and I was like, wow, this is super sweet. It was like 25 times sweeter than sugar, no calories, carbs, and a light bulb went off. And I was like, man, if I can figure out how to extract those sweet constituents from that leaf, I could be the natural version of aspartame.
So help me for a second, because maybe there's some either brand confusion or name confusion. You mentioned a word as you started to talk, and then I was thinking, well, wait, that's not the name of your company. There's a product that's called, or there's a leaf or something, whatever it is, a compound that's called Stevia, but your company name is Steviva. Is that correct?
Correct. So yeah, our company is actually split into two companies. So Steviva Brands would be our consumer line, and we're in roughly 2,500 stores across the U.S. with our line of sweeteners. And then our food ingredient side of the business is called Icon Foods. So we do work with a lot of high intensity sweeteners. I started the business off using stevia leaves, and that's the stevia plant is actually the plant where those sweet constituents are derived from. Okay,
so you're pulling this compound out of the stevia leaf, and you're creating this sweetener. Is that right? That's created this green herbal paste that you first saw, or do I have it wrong?
No, so I did see the green herbal paste and tried it out. And then what we do is we use a hot water process where we sort of release those sweet constituents from those leaves. And what's left behind is a white powder that's about 250 times sweeter than sugar.
Wow. Okay, I got it. So, but you don't have any. You're not like you don't have a scientific background, or do you?
No, I have a marketing background, but
isn't that the same thing? Tom, I see that as the same thing, man.
It's like, that's it. I mean, I just had, I had a background in marketing, and when I saw this, when I saw the stevia leaves, I thought, I can hire a chemist or a scientist to come up with a way to get the sweetness out of those leaves. And the rest is just marketing. So,
well, totally. Yeah. I always joke around that writing a book, as you probably can attest to this, writing a book is 20% writing skills and 80% marketing. And I'm probably being generous to the writing skills side of things, because isn't it really what you do with what you have?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's like, even, in the process of writing my book, before I started writing it, I was like, oh, what the hell am I doing here? I'm not a writer. But yeah, once you throw yourself into it and, you become consumed with it, it actually comes quite easily. So
I want to talk for a second about the couple of words that I used in the beginning when I introduced you, and the differences between doing well and doing good. And, there's somebody that could pull the sweet constituents out of a leaf and turn it into a money-making profit center, and not care about all of the not the side effects, but really the side effects of business, which could be, come hell or high water, I'm going to get this shit out of this leaf, and I'm going to serve it to the market no matter what. But you work on this whole different philosophy. I mean, you talk about zero carbon footprint in all of your plants, and using sourced renewable energy in not only your plant but in your offices as well. Your entire business practice and all of your infrastructure is based upon not doing well but doing good, which turns out to help you do well in business. So can you that's really, I mean, all the other stuff, the backstory, I mean, that stuff about finding the green herbal paste and all, that's great. But I think what's so compelling about sharing your story is that whole doing good by doing well, or doing well by doing good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that, I mean, for me, when I started this business, I'm a 5th generation entrepreneur. And, every day that I wake up, I'm grateful for, my employees that, have drunk the Thom King Kool-Aid, and actually show up to work and push this thing forward.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, it's not about who dies with the biggest pile of money, because you can't take it with you. I think that it's more important about building a legacy. And, coming from 5 generations of entrepreneurs that were big into contribution, it would just go against my values, my principles, to build a business that didn't actually give back. So we do have a really very sound, environmental policy and a zero carbon footprint. I make sure that I create an environment that's collaborative for my employees. I want them to get up in the morning and say, wow, I get to go to work instead of I have to go to work. So, we have gardens, we've got chickens, and we harvest the eggs, and we've got a yoga studio, and we have a very collaborative process where everybody is able to, to contribute and give their opinions and, and be part of the process. So for me, there's nothing better than to bring somebody in at one level and then within a year, just watch them completely start themselves on fire and just burn.
It sounds like it's just such a great environment to have your career and to start at somewhere, like you said, and watch somebody go through the progression of into leadership, into management of your organization. Where in the country is your plant and your office is located?
Well, I started the company in Southern California and moved everything to Portland, Oregon. So
wow.
Yeah, it was a huge difference. Portland, Oregon is an excellent setting for.
It's the land of doing good.
It pretty much is. Yeah, you can make a living here actually being a clown. So it's like there's like
I would do really well at it.
Well, they have a show called Portlandia. And I have relatives back in Colorado that that will watch it and be like, man, that is some crazy stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's all true. So Portland
right.
It's a crazy place to live, but it's also very connected with nature. It's a place where people come for a lifestyle. So we've got rivers running through our city. You can go paddle boarding and you can connect with nature, and everybody here seems to be very connected with with the stewardship of the land and taking good care of themselves. So it seemed like a great place. Yeah, it was a great place to move.
Totally great. So Thom, I want to give you a chance and I'm going to put you in a slightly uncomfortable spot. This is not a gotcha question or anything, but I have a feeling that giving you the opportunity to share what I'm about to ask you to share is not giving you a license to go out there and run rampant. And I never think you were going to run this ball down the field anyway. So let me ask you the question, debunk the myth for me. Help put it into practical application here so that my nice guy community can understand, and give me maybe an example if you can use it. Debunk this myth. Doing the right thing is not profitable. Because I've seen so much about you, and you're being extremely humble with everything that you're talking about right now. People don't realize, and I'm not saying who you are is who you are, but help me debunk the myth. Doing the right thing is not profitable.
That is something I'm adamantly against. I think that doing the right thing can be hugely profitable, and I just bring it back to a person that I have followed in the past and read all of their books and papers is Dr. Edwards Deming. And Dr. Edwards Deming lived by the philosophy of quality always costs less. So I think that if you're not doing good and you're not giving back to your community and you're not throwing, all of your effort into constant and never-ending improvement of your product and the way that you treat your employees, mm-hmm. that you could be the low-price leader by selling crappy products to people and not giving back to your community. But if you position yourself as a quality company, you're always going to get more for your product because people are going to trust you and they're going to come back for more. And particularly with the millennial generation, mm-hmm. they're making a lot of their purchasing decisions on the value of the company. So if they see that you're giving back, it's always going to pay off in spades.
What I love so much about your philosophy about how you run your business, and I'll take it a little bit further so our nice guy community can understand, because again, you're being extremely humble in what I want to hear is, man, our company is setting the world on fire. We're doing amazingly well. It's profitable. We're putting out a great product out there on the marketplace. We're not the cheapest guy in town, and we don't want to be. That was never our approach to getting business. But we have a consistent, dependable, clean ingredient sourcing. You guys are taking no shortcuts in putting your products and services out there to the market, and you're making a profit. So what's so great about that is, am I missing something in the story, or is that kind of accurate?
No, we just do the right thing. And I mean, we're crushing it. We're doing well. And year over year, we keep doing better. And I think that we keep doing better because of, how we position ourselves in the market. We aren't the cheapest, and we don't try to position ourselves as the low cost leader, but we do position ourselves as a reliable supply chain partner. And, and that quality always comes first. So, and customer satisfaction. So that has helped us a lot. It gets us a lot of repeat business, and people just don't leave.
Yeah, that's great. And I was checking out your blog too. Really cool stuff. I mean, you are definitely not a company that is just promoting sweetener substitute. It's cool stuff. I mean, you have some posts about portion control. You have a lot of posts about happiness, the human experience. I sense the trend that you, again, are just not pushing sweetener. So how did that philosophy, 5 generations deep, where did it come from? One person? Like, can you look at somebody and say, this was my inspiration, this guy or this woman or this person in my life?
Yeah, I totally can. That would be my grandfather. So my grandfather on my mother's side, he was sort of the accidental Zen master. And he was such an inspiration to me because I could count on him in any particular situation. Like if he said he was going to show up somewhere, you could count on the fact that he'd be there 15 minutes early. And my grandmother used to tell me a story about him, how when he did retire and he started collecting his Social Security checks, that he literally kept the checks and tried to bring them back to the Social Security office because he said he didn't need them. And they were trying to turn him.
Take them, wouldn't they?
They wouldn't take them. And they
Right.
said, no, this is, you earned this money. And he's like, well, I don't really need this money. I've got plenty, And I mean, he was just a super modest guy with a great sense of humor. And he was as solid of a person probably the best man I've ever met in my life. And he was my mentor.
What an amazing story. And now I'm beginning to see a little bit where that humble nature comes from, because in every piece of research that I've done about you, Thom, it's all about how amazing your company is to go to work for, how amazing you are as a leader, and how dedicated you are to your customers. And I can't seem to jar you loose in sharing. It's like, throw some good shit at my way, Thom. I'm looking for it. But that's just not who you are.
It's not, but I'm not perfect, because there are instances where I want to choke somebody out. So it's like,
there we go. There's Thom.
Yeah,
there
it is. Like, I mean, we're doing a build out right now. We had an architect who kind of went off the rails, and we've got the city giving us a bunch of crap. And yeah, so it's not all utopian, but yeah, and there's a lot of times, that I do. It's just everything that I can do to not knock somebody on the ground and start choking them.
That's good. So I know you're a human being now. I
am a human being. Definitely.
I saw this cool thing on your site, and I have no idea why the U.S. Department of Agriculture has kept this away from us for as long as they have. Share what you know about this monk fruit, and why are we just learning about this now? I mean, that seems like to be the miracle fruit of sweetening.
Well, monk fruit is just one of them. I mean, so monk fruit is it's an actual fruit. It's from Southeast Asia, and the sweet constituent in monk fruit is called Mogricide 5. And so probably a year and a half ago, we found a way to extract the Mogricide 5 out of the monk fruit, and using like a resin column purification system, where you get a super clean flavored sweetener that's 250 times sweeter than sugar, with no carbs or calories. So we're constantly trying to innovate. Like, we found another sweetener that's in West Africa, that's extracted from a fruit there that's 2,000 times sweeter than sugar. So
I mean, why is it? And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but sometimes this kind of stuff really just boils my blood. I mean, it seems like we're so dependent upon sugar, which is probably one of the worst ingredients for your skin, for your body, for your health that you can put into your body. Why is it that we're relying? Is it because manufacturing sugar is easy, or is it something? Because it looks like, in doing again research just about your particular product, I found products like stevia, is it erythritol, monk fruit? None of them have adverse effects on diabetics or those on low carb diets either. And I'm just thinking, where the hell has this shit been? Why are we just finding out about this, and why isn't it more prevalent in our food today?
Well, I mean, the sugar industry's got a very powerful lobby.
That's it. There it is. Is that what it comes to?
Oh, completely. I mean, when you look at like where sugar comes from, it comes from sugar cane, it comes from beets. Those are all subsidized crops, but by and large, most of the sugar that makes it into our food comes from corn. And corn is one of the highest subsidized crops in the US. So with these subsidies and with their big lobbying, they have the ability to get in front of the USDA and keep pushing the fact that sugar gives you energy when it actually does not give you energy. Like what gives you energy is fat. So I think it was about 40 years ago, the sugar industry hired a group of scientists to actually write research papers showing that sugar was actually good for you and it was a good source of energy, and fat made you fat. And now flash forward, 40 years, and you look at the pandemic of what I call diabesity. It will break our healthcare system if we don't turn it around. So I think that it's amazing and it's a great thing that people are starting to become aware of how actually toxic sugar is for your system.
It's just amazing. It's like when you said it's the lobbyists. It all comes down to who's got the best lawyers on their side. It's kind of like the whole gas coalition going up against the clean energy or battery powered cars. In the an organization like OPEC has billions of dollars to spend, as opposed to Elon Musk is trying to get his batteries on the market. It's very challenging. So I can see why sugar is very, very strong. I didn't realize it was because of all of the regulations and the lobbying that actually goes on. That's just, it's so stupid when it comes down to that stuff.
Well, it's bad, and it's not good for society either, because I mean, when you look at how sugar affects the body, it has addictive properties that are very similar to cocaine. So once you get that wound up sugar high, you're always going to be chasing it. And then, the more you're taking in, actual sugar, and, glucose starts to, be your main energy source, there's just a massive breakdown in your system, like your gut flora. It gets overrun by candida and, sort of gangster bacteria that ends up living in your gut and causing you major problems. And then, just in, probably the past 6 months, they've been labeling, Alzheimer's and dementia as diabetes type 3.
We're going to make sure we put all of the information about Thom's products that he offers to the public on his on our show notes. But it is Steviva.com, and we'll make sure that we put it on there. I want to move on to something a little bit more positive. It gets me, and now I'm a little depressed. But let's get beyond it. I want to talk about something that really made me smile, and that is you making a key lime pie on YouTube. That was probably one of the. You were so enthusiastic about this key lime pie that you were making, and Nice Guy Community will make sure we put a link in the show notes also to Thom's recipe. Now, I didn't know you were a baker. You did a very good job with that. You did have a couple of chunks in your key lime pie, though, just so you know.
I did, and so the key lime pie was for the longest time was my go-to, because I've always tried to stay off sugar, and I try to follow a ketogenic lifestyle. So I'm always looking for sort of innovative ways that I can still have sweets. And so I had this key lime pie recipe that I just tweaked to be able to I think that recipe's got viewed quite a bit because
Yeah.
it seems to be the subject of a lot of conversations people have with me.
Several thousand times it's been viewed. So
you're the key lime pie guy.
Okay, so but when I questioned you about it, now you were enthusiastic about it, but you also said, and when I shared with you a little bit of personal information about myself, I'd love key lime pie, but I'm lactose intolerant and didn't realize how much cream cheese and heavy whipping cream went into it. I'm like, that's why I feel sick every time I have key lime pie. So what is your new go-to recipe? Because you told me you have another one that you use.
Yeah, you're probably not going to like this one either.
Oh,
my newest one is like what I've been. So because of the ketogenic lifestyle that I live, I don't really eat grains and I don't, so flour and stuff is out of my diet. And so one of the biggest things that I miss is pizza and beer. And so I came up with a recipe for a keto pizza that actually uses Parmesan cheese and a mix of Parmesan cheese and almond meal as the crust, and it's really, really unbelievable.
I do like the almond meal. I've used that to do quesadillas with cheeseless quesadillas, of course, and using tofu as opposed to cheese. And sometimes, depending on the seasoning that you put on it, you can really make it taste good. I don't like to try to do like a cheese-alike kind of thing because then I'm just like, ooh, this sucks. I'm just missing cheese at this point.
Yeah, and so how bad is your lactose intolerance?
If I take the pills to help me with it, it is okay, but I still feel gross. So I've taken the things that were really most challenging for me were ice cream and cheese. I mean, those were really the things that would kill me, and those were the things pizza and ice cream. That would be like a daily staple for me.
Yeah, so I'm really into like biohacking and trying to tweak my system. And so about 6 months ago, I actually, I brewed up a 14 strain probiotic blend of bacteria and infected my body with it because I had a theory that I would be able to give myself lactose intolerance based on developing an overabundance of a particular bacteria in my gut. And I actually was successful in that. So I was
perfect. I just usually just eat. If I want to get sick, Tom, I just usually just eat out of the trash can. That's what does it for me.
I was literally lactose intolerant for like 2 months. And I was like, oh my God, this is what people that are lactose intolerant are going through.
Now, what was the purpose of you doing that though?
Well, I like to experiment with my microbiome, like with the gut flora and the different types of bacteria in my system, because can't
we just hire somebody to do that? Why do you have to do that on your own, Tom? You seem to be a very important person. Why would you want to make yourself sick?
I don't know anybody who's doing it. So
yeah, but Tom, if you pay somebody enough, they will do anything you tell them to do.
I know, but then there's that liability. When they've got explosive diarrhea and they're like, okay, so now what? I'm like,
thank you.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
So how did you get yourself? So you put yourself into lactose intolerance, and did your system automatically correct itself over the course of the next couple of months after that, or did you have to? What's the antibody? The what do you call it? The serum that you took to undo it.
Well, there's three different bacteria that I identified that could have led to the lactose intolerance. So all I did was reintroduce other bacteria that would take the place of those particular 3 strains of bacteria that were settling in my system. So,
Tom, do you go to like a local CVS for this kind of bacteria? Or, do you have to brew it up on your own? Where the fuck would I get bacteria from? I don't even know where to go to get bacteria. I don't think they don't peddle it anywhere in Washington, D.C.
They don't, but there's places that actually will sell different strains of probiotics. And there's a place in California that I order them from. And then I just grow them in a substrate of this stuff called fructooligosaccharides, which is a fine fruit fiber. So I'll mix that with warm water, dump in whatever strains of bacteria that I want to propagate, and let it sit for a couple weeks. And in 2 weeks, I've got a liquid that tastes somewhat similar to yogurt, but You just drink that and it populates your system with the
I
bacteria.
don't know. Tom, I think as a CEO and a guy that is a founder of a big organization, you have a little too much free time on your hands. We're going to have to figure out. Tom, you ever thought about podcasting? You should really get in. I think we could come up with stuff that you could do with your time that wouldn't make you quite feel so sick.
I didn't really think I was going to get as sick as I got. And I didn't realize how big of a pain in the ass being lactose intolerant is.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
It is, like your stomach cramps up and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. So yeah, and I do eat like a lot of whey protein. And so yeah, I was 2 months off of that until I could get my microbiome corrected.
So Nice Guy community, if you're still tuned into this conversation, this was not supposed to be a scientific conversation. We apologize for taking it in this direction, but it is quite fascinating. So, hey, Tom, if somebody in our community, not to get any kind of bacteria from you or any sort of virus control from you, but if they wanted to get a hold of you or find out more about what you're doing. Oh, you have a book too that's coming out, don't you?
I do. I have a book that's coming out in probably late fourth quarter or early first quarter called Guy Gone Keto. And it's not a diet book. It's about shifting a lifestyle from being carbohydrate based to fat based. So
interesting
stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of like Atkins meets something else. It is kind of like an Atkins diet, isn't it? Or no, that's more protein.
It's very similar to it. I mean, and I was really inspired years ago by Dr. Atkins, and there's been so many studies done, recently about the benefits of a ketogenic lifestyle. Dom D'Agostino, to me is one of the greatest pioneers in this right now, has got some amazing research on how adopting a ketogenic lifestyle can really benefit brain function. So, I mean, when I went keto, I lost 35 pounds. My energy level went way up. My inflammation levels went way down. So it's been a very positive experience for me.
Tom, you are a fascinating guest to have on the show. Coming into this with the idea that we're going to talk about doing well, doing good, getting into some scientific research and studies, talking about your pie making capabilities. I mean, you are truly the well-rounded CEO and founder. We so appreciate having you in the community. Thanks for being a listener. Thanks for being on the show today, man.
Oh, man, I totally appreciate it. This has been a blast.
If you want to get a hold of Tom's book, we're going to do our best. Tom, do you have a landing page for the book yet, or are you still working on that?
Yeah, they can go to guygoneketo.com, or they can go to thomking.com, and that's THOMKING. Any of your audience, if they want to shoot me an email, my email address is thom.king@Steviva, STEVIVA.com. You can find me on all of the socials. I'm really good about returning emails and, getting back to people who direct message me. Awesome.
Or if you just want to play a good game of golf with Tom, or if you want to make a pizza or a key lime pie, I think he's got plenty of time. I wasn't thinking that he had any time, but apparently he's got all the time in the world to mix up some bacteria stew for you if you like as well.
That sounds really
it sounds really horrible.
It does.
I'll make sure a Nice Guy community, we put all the links in the show notes for Tom's contact information and have access to his book as well. Tom, thank you for being a part of the show today.
Doug, I appreciate it. I mean, it's such an honor to be on your show. I listen to it every episode. You guys are crack up, and yeah, I was super psyched about this one.
Yeah, we were happy to have you on board. When Sue told me that she had you on, and I kept thinking, here's somebody that's actually doing well, doing good, and all the things that are so important to the Nice Guy community. So again, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Nice Guy community, never underestimate the value of nice. Again, special thanks to Thom King for being on the show today. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. I've done opens and closes for these bozos for 400 plus episodes. I've moved, I've had plastic surgery, I keep renewing the restraining order, but nothing has worked. They keep on finding me.